Most people think the only way to get better at Rocket League is to put in more hours, more ranked, more free play, more time behind the wheel. But after coaching hundreds of players and spending the last 5 years at the top of the game, I've learned something most people miss. Time doesn't fix bad habits. I hit SSL 5 years ago. I peaked number 2 in the world, and every player I've worked with that stayed stuck from gold to even grand champ wasn't failing because of mechanics. They were failing because of mindset, routine, the invisible things they did every game that held them back without even realizing it. So here's my promise. If you stick with this video and you're honest with yourself about what needs to change, I'll help you fix the exact mistakes holding your rank hostage. Most people grind Rocket League thinking they just need more time, more hours, more reps, more free play, but I'm telling you from firsthand experience, if you're stuck, time isn't your issue, habits are. In this video, I'm gonna break down 7 habits that held me back and probably hold you back too. I'll show you exactly what they are, how to recognize them in your own play, and what to do instead. And these aren't just surface level tips. These are the kinds of changes I've made myself and I've walked my coaching clients through to help them go from mid ranks to high SSL. Let's start with the first habit I had to kill completely. Habit number 1, treating every game like it's just another match. I used to treat every game like it was one more drop in the bucket. Queue up, play, win, or lose, move on. But that approach got me nowhere. I was just stacking hours, grinding, hoping ranked would come if I played enough. But quantity doesn't equal improvement. It never has. It just makes your habits more permanent, good or bad. If you treat every ranked match like just another game, you're not reflecting, you're not thinking, you're not learning, and worst of all, you're probably repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again. What I had to learn, and what I tell every single person I coach, is that games are data. Every match is a goldmine of information about what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right, and how you respond under pressure. But if you're not actively paying attention to that, you're wasting that data. I started watching back every loss, even just a minute of it, and I'd ask one question. What decision did I make that led to conceding? And most of the time, it wasn't a mechanics issue, it was an unnecessary challenge, rotating into the wrong spot, using boost when I didn't need to, and once I started doing that consistently, my awareness exploded. I didn't need to grind for 5 hours to improve, I just needed to be intentional with how I reviewed my gameplay, and almost instantly, I started fixing mistakes that I didn't even know I was making. If you're hard stuck, this might be the first habit to cut. Playing mindlessly, if you're not learning from your games, you're not really improving. Play fewer games, but analyze more of them. Make every match count and use it to sharpen your game sense and decision making. And there's a reason that not all pros play ranked all day. Most of them scrim, most of them watch the replays and they review, because that's where growth happens. If you want to rank up without wasting thousands of games, you've got to do the same. And if you're not sure what to even look for in your replays, that's where coaching can be a cheat code. Most people I work with just need someone to point out what's right in front of them, and once they see it, they never make that same mistake again. Habit number 2, playing to not mess up instead of playing to win. For a really long time, I didn't realize how defensive my mindset had become. Every time I went for a challenge, every time I rotated back, I was playing not to mess up. I wasn't trying to win, I was just trying not to lose, and that mindset will kill your potential. You second guess every decision, you hesitate on challenges, you hang back even when it's clearly your turn to push, and the result, you end up giving away possession, you miss scoring chances, and your team ends up playing a man down without even knowing it. What I tell the players I coach is this: if you're not confidently asserting yourself into the play when it's your turn, then you're already falling behind. At the higher ranks, hesitation is punished. Every split-second delay becomes a missed opportunity or a free goal for the other team. And once I realized I was playing scared, I started forcing myself to step into the play more, and that doesn't mean ball chasing, it means reading the play, trusting your instincts, and committing. Even if I got it wrong, I learned way more than I ever did playing passive and waiting around, and it even goes deeper. This habit seeps into how you approach free play, training, and everything, and I used to avoid going for double touches or risky shots in training because I didn't want to feel bad on missing them. But that's just not how you improve. You've got to attack your weaknesses head on. If you keep training and playing safely, you'll plateau and fast. Confidence is a skill, and the more you build it by playing intentional, aggressive plays, the more naturally it becomes a part of your game. Habit number 3, prioritizing speed over positioning. One of the most common things I see in champ players is the obsession with being fast. They think that if they just move quicker, they'll win more games, but in reality, they end up cutting rotation, boosting past smart positioning, and forcing bad touches just to get there first. And I used to do the same. I thought being fast was how pros played, so I tried to mimic that without actually understanding why they move the way they do. But what pros actually do is position smart and then move as efficiently as they can, and their speed actually comes from anticipation, not just from holding boost the entire time. And once I stopped rushing every rotation and instead focused on holding space, everything got easier. I wasn't burning boost for no reason, I wasn't out of position on every play, and more importantly, I was available for my teammates when they needed me. And what I tell people in coaching is that the difference between a high champ and an SSL is never raw speed. It's being in the right place at the right time. SSLs don't waste movement, they're deliberate, they rotate wide, they pick up pads, and arrive exactly when they need to. If you're constantly flying across the field and still missing the play, that's a sign that your positioning is broken. Slow down, focus on being in a spot where you can actually help, not just getting there as fast as possible, and you'll make more impactful touches and stop overextending so often. And again, this is where having someone analyze your positioning can be game-changing. Most people don't realize they're too far forward or sitting in no man's land until someone points it out. That's why so many of my clients level up just after one session, because awareness fixes what speed can't. Habit number 4, overthinking every play. At one point in my climb, I hit a wall. Not because I didn't understand the game, but because I was thinking too much. I'd overanalyze every play mid-match. Should I challenge now? Should I rotate back? Should I pass? Should I shoot? And by the time I made a decision, the opportunity was already gone. Overthinking kills reaction time, and in Rocket League, being even half a second late is the difference between being a clutch play and getting scored on. What helped me was trusting my instincts, and that doesn't mean making random decisions, it means building your fundamentals so solidly that your instincts are right most of the time. When you watch top level players, you don't see them hesitate. They trust the reps they put in and then they go. And that alone is why I push decision making in all of my coaching. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to commit. Indecision is worse than the wrong decision because at least the wrong move teaches you something. Sitting in neutral helps no one except for the opponent. And if you've already watched hours of content, played hundreds of games, and still hesitate every play, it's not because you need more theory or philosophy, it's because you haven't practiced trusting your reads. Train that and you'll play 10 times faster without ever needing better mechanics. Habit number 5, copying pros without understanding why. This one's massive, and I used to watch high-level streamers and pros and try to mimic everything they did. I'd go for fast kickoffs like first killer, I would try squishy saves, fancy backboard reads, even high-level rotation tricks like stealing corner boosts mid-rotation, but none of it worked because I didn't understand the context behind their decisions. I was copying the result, not the reason. And what I tell players I coach is don't copy what high-level players do, copy what they think. Their plays aren't random, they're calculated decisions based on positioning, pressure, opponent habits, game feel, experience, and until you understand all of that, you'll keep trying high-level plays at the wrong times. Instead of mimicking highlights, I started asking questions like, why did they make that touch? What were they waiting for? How did they know when to rotate or stay in the play? And that's when my game sense started to evolve. If you watch a replay and don't know why the player moved the way they did, stop the video and figure it out, and that's where the real improvement is. Also, what works at SSL doesn't always work at Champ or Diamond. Context always matters. One of the biggest mistakes I see in coaching is players trying to implement pro-level habits before they've built a foundation. Focus on learning learning why things work, not just how they look. Habit number 6, ignoring the mental side of the game. Rocket League is more mental than most players realize. You can have good mechanics, good positioning, and still throw games if you're tilted, anxious, or second guessing yourself. I used to get caught in feedback loops. I'd make a small mistake, get annoyed at myself, play worse, get more frustrated, and then lose 3 to 10 games in a row. And that's not because my skill changed, but it's because my mindset did. And this is something I spend a lot of time on with my clients, because if you can't keep your head straight when you're down 2-0 or when your teammate double commits, then you'll always underperform. Mental discipline is a habit, so I started forcing myself to reset. I'd pause after each goal, breathe, and treat each match like it was 0-0. I stopped blaming teammates, even in my head, and I reminded myself that I'm here to improve, not to be perfect. The players who rank up the fastest aren't the ones with the least mistakes, they're the ones who bounce back the fastest. And that's the difference between champ and SSL. And if you're serious about improvement, you've got to train your mindset the same way you train your aerials. That means resetting after mistakes, taking breaks when you tilt, and focusing on the long-term climb instead of obsessing over every win or loss. Habit number 7, grinding without direction. This one's last for a reason because it ties everything I've talked about together. For most of my early career, I thought the key to ranking up was just putting in more time. I'd queue up for hours, rotate between free play, ranked, and training packs, and I did improve, but it was so slow, frustratingly slow. What changed everything was getting clear on what I needed to improve. Instead of playing 20 ranked games and hoping something clicked, I started reviewing replays, identifying patterns, and isolating weak spots. Was I whiffing backboard clears? Cool, then I'd build a custom training pack and hit 100 of them a day. Was I getting caught out of rotation? I'd rewatch my losses and fix my paths. When you grind with direction, your time compounds. Every hour becomes twice as valuable because it's focused. And this is also why coaching works so well. Most players want to get better, they just don't know what to work on. I've helped players jump multiple ranks just by showing them their biggest blind spots and giving them a plan. And it's not magic, it's just focus. So if you're stuck, don't double down on what you've been doing, take a step back, reassess, and build a training plan around your actual weaknesses. If you've made it to this point, you now know the 7 habits that held me back and probably hold you back too. And I've coached players from Diamond all the way to SSL and beyond, and the difference is never just mechanics, it's mindset, habits, and just clarity. Kill these exact habits and you'll stop wasting hours and start seeing results. And if you want help doing that faster, my coaching program is still open. I'll personally break down your replays and give you a clear path to SSL, and we'll cut all of the guesswork out of your grind. This is your moment to level up. Whether you take the next step solo or with our help, just make sure you're not stuck doing the same thing and experiencing different results. Let go of the habits holding you back, and I'll see you at the top.